I want to interject here for a second. My mother is a teacher, and she would always say to me that an idle mind is a dangerous mind. And the fact of the matter is the conservatives don't believe in investing in social programs, and that's one of the reasons that you find youth falling out of the way, ending up in gangs. If you invest in social programs and after-school programs, in education, stimulating and keeping kids out of trouble, whether it's sports programs, whether it's arts, and creating facilities, that's how you address the social programs where you find young people who are economically disenfranchised going out of step, finding themselves in a certain way. And you also invest in education, which is a great equalizer.
I got to say, it's very... Sorry, I'll let you finish.
And I'd also like to remind everyone that we have committed to banning handguns.
And it's one thing to commit to ban them and to actually ban them, but early intervention to me is the answer. How do we raise children who do not find handguns the answer to solving problems?
I got to say, it's a little funny hearing...
We have to look at our immigration policies, help for immigrants, all of that, yes. We have a problem right now, but how do we stop it down the line? And the problem with many politicians is long-term thinking. Yes, I'll get elected, but what's the long term? What's going to happen down the road? How am I going to help people of this nation raise children who have better answers?
Here we are in the midst of an election, hearing my friend the Liberal talking a pretty good talk about investing in social programs and socioeconomic justice and the need to provide supports for families. But as we've learned from 13 years of this Liberal government, they don't act on those words. The only time they take action on these programs is when there are enough New Democrats in the Parliament to pressure them to do it, as was demonstrated by the NDP budget bill, where we had $4.6 billion shifted from corporate tax cuts towards investing in education, towards investing in environmental programs, and those other things that are important to Canadians and their families. So I agree with my friend at the other end. We certainly need investing in those programs. The way to get that investment and the way to ensure there's priority placed on those social programs is to send more BC New Democrats to Parliament, to sit there with Jack Layton and to pressure whichever party has the greatest number of seats to ensure that those priorities are implemented. And I just don't think it's a credible message to be hearing these promises from the Liberal. We hear campaign after campaign after campaign, and then the Liberals take office and we see broken promise after broken promise after broken promise. Enough is enough.
Let's be clear, there's a multifaceted approach to crime, and certainly a strategy targeted at investing in programs that help youth at risk is important, and it's something that Stephen Harper has been very clear in his support on that. But crime takes a multifaceted approach, and under the Liberals we've seen a litany of Liberal legislation that's that's created the mess we're in today. Crime is simply out of control in this country. We are now, this is quite amazing, you are now more likely to be mugged in Toronto than you are in the city of New York.
And that's incredible. What has happened?
I've yet to see those statistics that David Frum is running around presenting them as to be gospel truth. But the fact of the matter is, you've got to have a balanced and pragmatic approach.
And you've got to value social crime.
You've got to value social programs, but you've also got to manage your checkbook. You can't be just writing checks and running up a federal deficit and then busting out the credit card as the New Democrats would have you. You've got to have a balance, and that is the Liberal approach. Is that your economy is going well. We have job creation, and we are also in a position where we can invest in social programs. That is balanced, that is smart, that is good economic policy, that is good social policy, and that is a fact, and neither of you can deny that.
When we come back, let's talk about help or no help for immigrants.
All right.
Okay. After this, more with our panel, and we invite your calls at 629-4444. That's 604-629-4444, 1-877-904-7429 if you're calling from Kelowna or the interior. After this.
Makeup services for Studio 4 provided by Beauty Mark, now at 3 locations in Vancouver. For more information, please visit www.beautymark.ca.
Catering for Studio 4 provided by Café de Medici, specializing in traditional Northern Italian cuisine for over 25 years. Located on Robson Street in the heart of downtown Vancouver, just off Burrard.
At almost every sporting event, concert, and theater production are empty seats. Empty seats that could be filled with joy, discovery, and possibilities. That ticket you can't use could mean the world to a kid who's never been to a hockey game, or a family that's struggling to make ends meet. If you can't use your ticket, Kids Up Front knows thousands of deserving kids who could. Fill empty seats with happy hearts. Call Kids Up Front or visit kidsupfront.com.
This moment brought to you by Harmony Airways.
Brought to you by Sunkissed Ester C, Soft Chews Vitamin C Supplement, a delicious, chewy way to get vitamin C that helps maintain healthy bones and teeth.
Ryan Stewart, Coco Lafoca, and Joel McLaughlin are visiting Studio 4. Coco is the president of the Young Liberals of Canada in BC. Joel is a member of the Conservative Party, and Ryan is an organizer with the New Democrats. And the immigration, the announcement, I believe it was yesterday, Prime Minister Martin said he would take away the $975 fee for a landed immigrant.
I have no reason to believe here that the Liberals are ever going to deliver on this promise. It's clearly just another election goodie. And over 12 years, we've seen the Liberals make these types of election-style promises and then not deliver on them. And quite frankly, they just have no credibility left. And Paul Martin has no credibility left. So I really don't believe that the party that introduced the head tax and the party that has refused and has had a total inability to take action on recognizing foreign credentials. I just don't believe the Liberals are going to provide this.
Do you think
help.
it's a good idea? Harper said he'd half the fee and then
Absolutely.
incrementally
And we'll
take it
deliver on
away,
that.
eventually take it away. So the big question is, who pays for immigration policy? Who pays to help immigrants? Where is the money going to come from? That's always the next question, isn't it?
I find it
$975 fee, take it away.
Take it away.
He said we've made enough money.
Well, I mean, it's a bit ridiculous to have that present when you're trying to integrate new immigrants to
It was
this country.
ridiculous that Paul Martin introduced it in 1995.
The best strategy is to waive that fee so that immigrants can start here with an equal starting field and have the opportunity, and for us to provide them with the resources and support structure, for example, with language training and assistance and foreign credential recognition so that they're able to integrate and contribute to our society and our economy.
Sooner rather than later.
And we've been making significant gains in foreign credential recognitions. I know that they're going to try to spin it as not, but the last time I checked, we have been making significant gains, and we're providing a mechanism so that foreign-trained doctors, engineers are able to have their credentials recognized more efficiently and effectively so that they can address some of the challenges we're facing in our healthcare and in other areas of the economy.
As we know, some immigrants are extremely wealthy, much wealthier. Today, often immigrants come to this country and it isn't about money for them.
It's interesting, I mean, to the Liberals speak of immigration purely as it pertains to people operating in the Canadian sort of job market. I mean, the reality is, of course, we would have a huge skills shortage without immigration. Our population isn't replenishing itself. But they don't bother to talk about families of migrants who are already here. And of course, the fact that both the Liberals and Conservatives opposed the NDP efforts in the last Parliament to introduce the once-in-a-lifetime bill to allow families who are already here to sponsor another individual from their family to come to Canada. So they don't seem that concerned on issues of family unity and togetherness. They're not talking about providing increased supports for immigrants in terms of settlement services and assistance in finding employment and skills training. So again, we hear the Liberals talk a good talk at election time. We see them fail to deliver after voting day. Enough is enough. I just don't think British Columbians are buying the Liberal message anymore, and nor do they think the Conservatives are right on these issues. We think they're wrong, and it's time to send more New Democrats to Parliament.
It does bring up the question, how many immigrants to allow into Canada? Where's the level?
Well, certainly, like my friend over here on the left indicated, immigration drives a large part of our economy.